Hi guys, Derek here for the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. We have a great video for you. Be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons. Enjoy. Alrighty, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. I am very excited for this show. I've been waiting for this one. I can't tell you how excited I've been. This is one that I know I've talked to you about this a ton, Kevin. My wife is, I've talked her ear off a ton about this one. Very special episode. Very excited to be able to bring you Robbie J from the Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network. Very excited to have Robbie J here. Robbie J, what's good?
Oh, man, it's a pleasure to be here with the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Network. And to be able to represent the Rumboyz brand, this is a beautiful experience. I've listened to you guys show. You're very thorough. You're damn good at what you do. So to fuse the two levels of expertise, it's a beautiful thing that's about to happen here in podcast history.
We appreciate the compliments and definitely likewise the empire that you are building is awesome from all different platforms and across different sectors of fantasy sports and I guess give us the breakdown. How'd you get started in all this? How'd you begin to build Rumboyz?
So it started off with me and my previous co-CEO, co-founder Ty Boogie. A lot of the props go to him, but our friends, they were listening to us one day while we were sitting back watching the Redskins versus Bears play, which were both of our teams. And they're like, you guys need to start a podcast. The shit talk is real. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on you guys' show. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
We're good.
But, they were like, the shit talk is real. It's organic. It's passionate. And, they just felt that we should do it. And then we had to find a name. We had an idea at that point. We had to find a name. We were sitting back, drinking a handle of rum. The Captain Morgan private stock, I believe it's like the 1875 that they don't even sell anymore. You can go on Amazon and get cases of it, but that's about it. And we bought 35 cases of it. We were drinking a bottle of the stock, and then boom, it hit us, and we were like, we're drinking this shit all the time. How about we be the Rumboyz, and how about we bring something different? Part of why we created was to disrupt the market. We felt that on TV, when you turn on cable or Netflix or anything, all the analysts, for whatever you subscribe to, are all clean cut, wearing suits. We want to do something different, so we came with this pirate rum. Have a drink with us, pour up and get your analysis, and know that it's going to be thorough, and we're going to help you secure your bets type of show. And we moved from there, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful thing since. We've interviewed 40 rookies, interviewed multiple top analysts that have been on cable and such, and we've had them on our show, had a drink with them, interviewed previous NFL players. We run a podcast. We run 2-3 different style debate shows, kind of like that First Take Around the Horn style. Everything that ESPN does, we do it, but we do it in our sleep, and we do it a little bit edgier and better. That's all,
Yeah, no, it definitely showcases, because you guys are kind of that real and that raw. Some of the things that I'm kind of curious about, because you guys have so much going on. You guys have kind of your hands in a little bit of everything there. But what are you guys working on that's going to be up and coming? Something new that's coming out. What are you guys really working on? Right now?
One things that we have new coming out is we are working on our Rumboyz fitness line, and just kind of showing, different walks of life. One of our guys is a bigger guy. You see me, I'm a smaller frame guy. We have a couple of different people that, as a company, they all wanted to show that there was an oxymoron to the whole side of things, and they want to do a fitness side of the business. So we're going to get into that. We have a fitness merch line coming out. We already have our normal merch line out, which is for all different walks of life. There's something for everybody there at rumboyz.com. Articles are dropping on rumboyz.com every day. But as far as what's next for us, just putting on for the TBL, the Professional Basketball League. That's a basketball league that I'm I'm working with very closely as a sponsor, as a professional commentator there. I appreciate you guys for giving me the resume bullet point. And then also getting ready for our second year of scouting for NFL and fantasy football. We're trying to bring more championships home. That's what we're really all here for and what we all really got into this for. All the other stuff is just party of BS for me, in the words of Biggie.
Hell yeah, cash and trophies, man. That's why we do it.
Oh, I love that. We're gonna let you guys use that one. I like that. Can we put that on a Good Old Boys shirt?
Cash and trophies. We might be able to work something out like that.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna be talking to you guys about how you guys can do that all and let's go in and plug that now. Good Old Boys Cash and Trophy shirt should be on the way, right? Fans, I think these guys are going to be able to uphold that. That is a beautiful. I'm getting one.
There you go.
Yeah.
So kind of diving into the fantasy perspective, Hings, as we started kind of get fired off here.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a bust and a sleeper here for 2020 and what you're seeing here in your early analysis.
So when it comes to bust and a sleeper, I mean, it all depends on what you're looking for. In the off season, I've been getting a lot of randos, I guess you could say, trying to find a sleeper QB earlier due to the fact that there was 2 QBs last year in Mahomes and Jackson. So I'm getting the QB early people. I'm going to first start off by stating you should never lean on that as a strategy. If you're leaning on that as a strategy and then you're simultaneously, at least I can speak for myself watching my show, it's probably not the best winning strategy for you. But if you're going to do that, I would say a sleeper is Kyler Murray. That's the guy that you're going to go after. I feel like that's a sleeper. I feel like I'm a big film guy over box score guy, are looking at Deebo Samuel, and they're looking at, well, the 49ers, they run the ball significantly higher than most, and that is what they lean on. So they're looking at someone like a Deebo Samuel that's probably going to be there, 8th, 9th round. All combinations, all things that I'm not a fan of, theories that I'm not subscribing to. Are they sleepers because of what ADP shows us? Early ADP, yes. For today's episode's purposes. Emmanuel Sanders is going to go to a different team. He's going to be a sleeper. A lot of different variations can happen there. Any one of the rookies that are coming up in this draft, Dobbins, depending on where he goes, could be a sleeper. It really just depends on what you're looking for. If Hayden Hurst gets moved from the Baltimore Ravens, that's going to be another name you're going to want to look out for. Everyone's looking at Mark Andrews as tight end number 4. The tight end is a position where most fantasy players really have a weakness at. So you want to try and find that tight end sleeper. If Hayden Hurst gets moved to a team of certainty, we could see him talking about wanting more balls and having a least amount of hits on his body, being a guy that you can go and get. So it really all depends on heading up to draft day. We have a lot of articles pertaining around that are going to be coming out pertaining around that, though.
Starting to hear a little bit of rumblings about New England's poking around, right? They're getting looped in with every tight end free agent possible, whether it's Hunter Henry or Hayden Hurst or whatever that may be. But it makes him a player instantly. It makes him a game changer.
And when you talk about sleepers, and when you're looking at the calendar of which this episode is going to be published, right now, a vast majority of those names that I mentioned right now don't sound like sleepers to you. They're going to be, depending on what rosters they are going to end up as. Everyone wants to look at it, and we're going to look at one specific team, from my understanding, later on in scope of how they are. But in terms of planning for the future and helping people win championships and not looking at things of how they are, there are a lot of names that are going to move that are going to be sleepers. Austin Hooper, if he becomes a Redskin, which is very highly possible with almost $58 million in cap space, then we're looking at him possibly being draftable to you due to the team that he's going to round 8, round 10. So, I mean, sleeper right now of what we're doing here at the Rumboyz Fantasy Network is probably very different than what a lot of other people are hearing on podcasts or what they may be expecting coming onto the show. I'm looking at things 10, 12, 15 moves ahead, versus the short game, the short term, just because that's just how I win championships.
Hey, right on.
I'm weird.
With Cam, kind of the news about Cam Newton today, right? They came out and said, all right, Cam's going to be our guy. We expect him to be our starter for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I see McCaffrey's numbers taking a slight dip because of that. But, at least amongst our show, right? Alex thought that it wouldn't change anything, that McCaffrey would still be putting lights out numbers. But I see that dip coming a little bit. But how do guys like DJ Moore and Ian Thomas, how are those guys going to get affected?
I love that you just brought up Ian Thomas. My face just for those that are listening to the audio version, please subscribe to the Good Old Boys YouTube channel so that you can just witness this greatness here. Ian Thomas is going to see a peak because we already know prior to Matt Rule coming into the coaching position, the head coach position, that Cam Newton favors the tight end. But in terms of just zoning in on the running back, I don't know if it necessarily hurts Christian McCaffrey. I feel like when we're looking at on a bootleg style type of play of Cam Newton rolling out, preferably with the weak side, film that taught us this, Cam Newton rolling out to the weak side, if he goes with the pitch to the running back, that is a highly successful play for them. That running back is at least picking up anywhere between 5 to 8.3 yards off of that just one play. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. Go look it up. I promise. So with that being said, I don't think that this hurts Christian McCaffrey. I think that having a more mobile guy in the backfield, and in case that mobile guy who has dealt with injuries can take too big of a hit and get hurt, he's just going to pitch it right off. Or either there's always that swing pass or that screen option. Matt Rule coming from Baylor, we're going to see a lot of dump off style of plays. And having Cam Newton only makes that playbook even better. Now, I will say this from a fantasy standpoint, if you're the 101, just know that you're taking a gamble at going at Christian McCaffrey because there is a case of possible regression that has been mentioned. But if you're at 102, 103 and he falls to you, you could be the Christian McCaffrey owner of last year, right? Possibly. The 101, maybe you go into there with the little Stevie Wonder superstition ain't the way. Because I was 101 last year in one league, and I went Saquon. I went with what ADP said, and I hated that decision.
No. Yeah. I have Cam Newton as my comeback player of the year. Yep. I think getting Joe Brady in there calling plays, this Matt Rule offense, the way that he's kind of shown over the course of his career, whether it was at Temple or most recently at Baylor, he kind of gets these guys to, surround themselves with, this positive, upbeat persona, and we'll see if it translates. That's the biggest thing. Does it translate from college players to the pros? But if these guys can rally around a guy who, for the most part, is the polar opposite of how Ron Rivera acts and at least kind of holds himself in public, I could see those guys molding together, and this Carolina offense is going to be fun. We were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I'm super excited to watch all aspects of the Carolina Panthers offense this season.
And I actually did tune into that episode. Shout out to you guys via Spotify. That's where I followed you guys, start listening. I got an Android. I don't have an iPhone, so the Apple podcast side of things are a little bit difficult. But don't worry, all you Apple listeners, there's a way. I'm trying to make sure I seriously plug that because some people, they'll get that little DM like, hey, give us a 5-star rating, and they can only do it on Apple. There's other ways you can support.
Well, Robbie, I've got bad news because we always try and get help people out where we can, and I've got Apple Podcasts, and we left y'all a 5-star review on your show on there, so trying to at least we're trying to help you out with the Apple, but
I appreciate it. No, that and all that SEO stuff, it works all in the same way, so I appreciate it. But I mean, no, dude, like, You know, I really like that Carolina Panthers episode. If you guys have not checked it out, if you're interested in drafting DJ Moore, like myself, that's the main person that I'm really high on, because I don't know what I'm a realistic fantasy player. I don't know what my odds of getting a top 3 pick are in Christian McCaffrey. So I am more interested in the analytics around a Curtis Samuel, Ian Thomas, or a DJ Moore. And now Cam, as of announced today. So if you're an appreciation of that type of analytics and just realistic aspects of where you're going to fall in the draft, and that team specifically, go check out that episode. I just wanted to take time to plug that.
Yeah, Kevin, you bring up some great points there with the Cam Newton, comeback player of the year. For all of you that are listening to this, we've got the Cam Newton quarterback carousel, retire, rehire, or new hire. That'll be on the YouTube, and that's going to be available by the time that you're listening to this. We're going to launch it on Wednesday morning, first thing, so check that one out. But Robbie, enough about us and plug in our YouTube. Where can our listeners learn and connect with you online?
Rumboyz.com, our website. That's more so, not directly, linking with me. I mean, you're linking with the brand, but you're linking with my writers. More importantly, I want to shout out my whole entire staff. Those are the hardest working guys in the industry. Aside from those of us that get in front of the camera, those are the hardest working guys in the industry that I know. So I want to shout out my writing staff. You can subscribe to our YouTube, Rumboyz Fantasy Network. We do everything from play-by-play, player interviews, analysis, debates, predictions, you name it, we're there for you. If you tell us that you want the piece of the content, we'll provide it for you in a matter of moments. So yeah, I mean, definitely hit us up on YouTube. And I also want to shout out sportscaster.com as well. Sportscasters, like the Twitch of sports. Instead of gamers, it's for sports people. So
sounds great. And for anybody else,
smile on my face.
For anybody else curious, we've actually got the Rumboyz Fantasy Network YouTube linked on our front page of our YouTube channel. So if you are subscribed to us, you can easily click the subscribe button to them right there from the page. Make sure you do it. I've hopped on. I've watched a few of your live streams, watched a few of the plethora of content that you have out there, and all of it is fantastic. All of it is real. All of it is raw. You guys need to check them out. It is absolutely fantastic.